So we're going to go through this bank account assignment here. Let me enlarge some things. Alright, so we're going to create a bank account class. It's going to basically recreate some base common account transactions. So we're just going to go down the list. So let me go ahead first create a file here. And we'll call this bankaccount.rb. Actually, make sure I get in the right folder that I want it in. In here, new file.
Are you recording this, Chris?
Yes, I am. Okay. So, class, bank account. Just start that up just to make sure we know we're running. Running. Alright, let me pull up my terminal. And let's enlarge that so you can actually see what's going on. Okay. Coding, demo, Ruby bank account, running. Okay. File is now running. So, okay, first one, bank account should have a method that returns the user's account number. Account number should be generated by a private method and should be random. Okay. So we need an account number and it's private. So let's go ahead, since we know we're going to initialize the bank account. And we'll just say at account number, and let's say we need a private method to generate it. So to make a private method, we just started off with private. Everything after that is private, and then I want to switch the ones below here to public. Go ahead and raise this up. So let's create a create account number method. And what are we going to return? Well, Ruby has this cool function called rand. And if you pass in a number, it'll give you random integers up to that number. And let's see, account numbers are normally, let's just say 16 digits long. So this is one method, and it's just saying create a random number up to 10 and do it 16 times. So hopefully this works. Let's do our test cases down here. So we'll say mine equals bankaccount.new, and let's display mine account number. It won't work yet because I don't have a getter and setter for it, so let me do that. And account number. Okay. Oh. Let's go ahead and print that out. And there it is. So clear. Alright, so we got our account number displaying, and to create an account number is private. How do we know? Because if we try to call that function on this instance, we should get an error. And there it is. Private method, create account number called for, no method error. So we have made a private method. Delete that so we can check off this box. Next, bank account should have a method that returns the user's checking account balance. Alright, so let's do a getter and setter for, let's just call it checking. And then give them a checking account. And let's just say when we initialize, we pass in checking deposit. And we'll equal that to equal the checking deposit. And so now let's change our new creation to, say we start off with $500. We don't need that anymore. So let us go ahead and print mine.checking. And there it is, 500. All right. So that is a getter method, so that works there. Bank account should have a method that returns the user's savings account balance. All right, it's basically going to be the exact same thing, except for savings. Go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, savings. And we're going to add to the initialize and have them deposit some sort of amount. So now we need two things, and let's say deposits 25 into the savings account. Let's go ahead and print that. Boom. Printing checking, there's savings account. So now we have that. Alright, next on the list, bank account should allow a user to deposit money into either checking or savings. Alright, so we're going to need to create a deposit method. Really, don't go out. And we'll just call this deposit. Now you can deposit either into checking or savings, so in addition to amount, we'll need to know which account. So let's just pass in an account and the amount, and let's just say something like if account equals checking, then at checking plus equals amount, else, or just be safe, let's just say else if account equals savings, then we will add the amount to savings. Else, they're trying to deposit into an account that doesn't exist, so let's just print out account doesn't exist. And our end. Okay. So to test this out, let's go ahead and say mine.deposit, and let's check deposit and checking first. Let's deposit 300. Let's see what happens. And I'll just keep printing checking and savings just to check both amounts. And all right, checking account went up to 800. Savings is still 25. Yep. Yes. There's three options. You have puts, print, or P. When you get to testing, you'll find that puts and print, they'll like print out whatever you want, but then they return nil after that, and that'll jack with your testing later on. Whereas P does not return nil, it returns what it's displaying. So, yeah. You'll find out when you get to the testing section. Now, I'm sure you'll do a puts, and then it's going to tell you that it's expecting whatever you think it's expecting, but it got nil, and that's why. So I just got in the habit, I just always use P for everything, just because it does kind of more along the lines of what I want it to. All right. So I just switched that to savings, and that works. Notice the savings went up. Nope, I still don't want to buy Sublime. Let's see what happens if we try depositing a 401k, and account doesn't exist, amount still stay the same. Alright. Next, bank account should allow a user to withdraw money from one of their accounts, return error if insufficient funds. That is basically going to be just like deposit with one additional check. So withdraw, have to know what account to withdraw from, what amount, we'll do the same thing. If account equals checking, now we need to check if, let's see, if amount is greater than checking, then let just be checking, yeah. Insufficient funds. Yeah. Okay. Else, you're not totally broke yet till after the withdrawal, and you just make at checking minus equals amount. That's the end of that one. And then we do our else. Oh wait. Else if account equals savings. And then do the same check. Check if amount is greater than that. If it is, savings is dry. Else at savings minus equals amount. And that. And then the final else P count doesn't exist. And end that. Yep, okay. Alright, so let's just change this to withdraw. Go through the same process. Okay, I just went ahead and left. Let's go ahead and check our checking. Withdraw 300, so that should work. And there it is. Our checking is 300 less than it was. Now let's check the insufficient and savings. We only have 25, so this should hit that other check. And it does. So counts remain the same. We get the message saying there's not enough in savings. All right. Go down the list. Okay, a bank account should allow the user to view the total amount of money they have at the bank. Okay, so let's just create another method and call this get total money. And here, total money is only going to be checking and savings combined, so we'll just return at checking plus at savings. And I guess we should probably just print that, so we can just do that. So those out and call mine dot get total money 525. Cool. That one seemed pretty easy. Alright. Bank account should track how many accounts the bank currently has. Alright. This is more the bank tracking all the number of accounts, so it's outside of just the instance of the actual account. So this is going to be a class variable. So we'll do the double at symbol, number of accounts, and we have to start this off somewhere. So we started off with 0, and then every time we initialize, we need to go ahead and take that number of accounts and increment it by 1. And quick tip, because someone will do this confusing JavaScript, the plus plus incrementer that you get with JavaScript does not work in Ruby. So that shorthand no longer exists, so you have to do plus equals 1. And no errors. Of course, I didn't test that at all, so let's just say once we initialize, to make sure that works, let's just go ahead and print out the number of accounts. So here's 1. Let's make sure it totally works. Count dot new 20. And that should print out a 1 and a 2. And there it is. So first I printed out the first account I created. I still have the total amount there. And then this is after the second account got instantiated. The number of accounts increased to 2. So we got that running now. All right. Bank account should have a private attribute called interest rate that is only displayed when the user calls the method account information. All right. So private interest rate, we already have a private section. So interest rate is also going to be class because all accounts are going to have this bank's interest rate. And we'll just set it to whatever, something like that. And then we need a method called account information to display that. Account information. And just print out, let's actually print out some little more descriptive. Interest rate is interest rate. And okay, so mine dot account information. Oh wait, this is an interest rate percentage. There it is. Interest rate is 3.25%.
I'm going to deposit my money in your bank.
Yeah. All right. Okay. And how do we know that's private? Because if we called, oops, try to call on the interest rate like that, say undefined method, no method error. I don't think I set a getter and setter for it anyway, but all right. And next, bank account should have a method called account information, which actually partially made there. Displays the user's account number, total money, checking account balance, saving account balance, and interest rate. Okay. So let's just add on to this. P account number is, and that's the account number. Total money. Where was my total money? Total money is, actually I don't need a P there. And we'll just pass in that get total function and it should run that and show what it returns. Checking balance is, and that's checking. Savings balance is savings. All right. So, and there it all displays. Account number, total money, checking balance, savings balance, and interest rate. Let me get rid of this one from printing. All right, so we've done that. Last one, the user should not be able to set any attributes from the bank account class. Okay, so we got to change something up because obviously all the checking, savings, all that stuff was public, which is why I could just print mine.checking, mine.savings, and it showed, but we want to make them private, so I'll just go ahead and move that private up here. So now this attribute accessor, which is what makes our getter and setter, is underneath private, And what was it? Any attributes, which we have account number, checking, savings. All right, so everything is now under private, which means if we try to do these, it is no longer going to work. Notice it started getting account information, and then once it got to those two, no method error. So we would just have to fix this, and this is pretty simple. So we just have to get access to those private attributes. Now we have to actually create methods to get access to that. So get checking, and that'll just return checking, and get savings, and that returns savings. And we'll let account number. Get account number at account number. There we go. All right. So before those would give us an error, which they still should. Really? And they do. But now let's just change these to the name of our newly created methods. And everything works. Get account number, get savings, account checking, savings, account number. And why did we do that? So that we can't say mine dot checking equals 2 million dot get checking. And we're not allowed to change those attributes. And that ends the list. Any questions or anything else you want me to play around with?
Couldn't you have done that just by changing the attribute assessor to attribute reader and just made them read only that way?
Yeah, probably. Well, and then I would still need a writer because I gotta be able to set these. So yeah, I could do writer inside of here.
That's private.
Yeah, I'd probably do something like that.
We only write them in the initializer. Or is there written elsewhere?
So adder reader.
I think you can just do it as just reader, and not make you move that up above your project.
Oh yeah, because technically I'm not creating them except for in here, which is part of the method.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
And then you shouldn't have those last three functions, I wouldn't think.
And oh wait. Actually, let me take off that account information. Clear. Oh, this one is because I tried to set it, so that clearly still doesn't work. And yep, so that still works. That's it, Ruby, multiple ways to do things. So, any other questions or? All right.